when we kind of touched on this as well already. Just the press conference reviews from Dave Canales and Dan Morgan. We kind of touched on it a little bit. Was there anything for you personally? Was there anything that kind of stood out with what Dave Canales said today or Dan Morgan yesterday? Was there anything that kind of set off a red flag in your head? Was there any good shit that they were saying? Like what was your feedback from the owners, the NFL annual meeting?
Yeah, I would say the red flags were something that I mentioned earlier. DJ Wano being injured, because obviously I didn't know that. And you could chalk it up, just didn't do my research, but I didn't know it, so
I didn't either. So
that's what it
is.
And then him saying that he's comfortable with the linebacker position, outside linebacker position, whatever you have it. I didn't like that. I think something else that was very interesting is our guy Sullivan. He came from Seattle, so they're familiar with him. So it seems like that he'll be getting a lot more burn. He still said he loves Tommy Tremble. So
I do too, low-key.
Yeah, I think he'll see an increased snap count. And then he also said that he would like to add one more tight end in that room. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure if that's like draft type thing, maybe a free agent here. Not sure. But I guess those are really the only things that stood out, other than his like critique of how he's going to handle Bryce Young and just like, I guess, the quarterback room in general. And, I mean, it gave me a sense of I'm not extremely bought in on him yet, but it gave me some kind of positivity.
He's a great politician.
Yeah, I will say that.
He's a great politician.
He knows what to say.
And that kind of gives me cause for pause because I felt the same way with Matt Rule. I remember, I think I was going to the Raptors-Hornets game when he did his opening press conference, and I was sitting at what's the place we like going to? Red Eye.
Red Eye.
Yeah, I was sitting at Red Eye, listening, and he completely sold me. That to me is a politician.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously that's saying it in hindsight, but that's what's kind of giving me cause for pause because it seems like Dave Canales is saying everything right to me, especially when he was talking about the quarterback room.
But I also think it could seem like he's saying everything right, but it is also a lot different than what we're used to hearing. Because I don't think Frank Wright came in and commanded that kind of respect and, like, really made you think that there was going to be competition here or that, like, the shit will be ran his way. He didn't say it, but I guess he showed it with his actions a little bit because he didn't want to come off the play calling duties, which was a fucking bonehead move. But yeah,
that indecision. Frank Wright seems very indecisive.
Yeah.
Like you bring in with Thomas Brown to call plays, but then you don't actually make him the play caller. But then you start fucking up, so you give him the play calling duties. But then you know you're on your way out, so you take them shits back.
Yeah,
and it's just like there was too much like if that you want Bryce Young, but you also want C.J. Stroud. But now you like Bryce Young a little bit more. I think we're gonna roll with Bryce Young, but C.J. Stroud do still kind of look good. But we're gonna roll with Bryce Young. We're going to pay Brian Burns, but maybe not this year. We might pay him. We might trade him. We might not. I don't really know what we're going to do with that. We'll see. It's like everywhere you look, there was fucking indecision.
And with Matt Rule, the thing that I hated about him the most, there was, like, no accountability. Like, he didn't hold any players accountable for shit they did. And I think Dave Canales has already come in. And
except for Cam, not to cut you off.
Oh, yeah.
But he hated Cam.
But he did. And something
got
else,
him out of there.
Because it was Cam's locker room. It wasn't Matt Rule's.
Yeah.
Very true.
Something else interesting Dave Canales said that I guess he's giving Icky a free slate.
That was very interesting to me as well. Yeah. And I was driving up here and that kind of opened up a question that I want to ask you, and I'll ask you after I say comment on some of the things that you were saying. Love the feedback that we got from Sullivan. I absolutely love the fact that it seems like he is going to have a chance to earn more rep share as well. Tommy Tremble, they're high on him. I'll be honest, I was slandering Tommy Tremble throughout the early part of last year. But, I mean, Tommy Tremble, to me, took Hayden Hurst's position.
Yeah, for sure.
A vet who had already been established in the game, and what Tommy Tremble was year 3. This is year 3 for Tommy. This is year 4 right here.
Yeah, because like we can pay you more to get more production.
Right,
Cool.
exactly. So I loved hearing that. Same thing with you about DJ Wanham. Kind of hesitant now, even more than I was before, because I wasn't aware of the injury. What else did he say that kind of gave me cause for pause? Well, not really cause for pause, but that was really the most that I got from that. Like I said, I love the way that he described what he wanted the quarterback room to look like and feel like. That spirit of collaboration to me is going to be huge going down the stretch, especially when you have a vet like Andy Dalton, and it seems like they're going to bring in another one.
Yeah.
So if that is what has worked for you in the past, and that's what has gotten Geno to look the way he did, Baker to look the way he did, I'm perfectly okay and good with that being the same approach, the spirit of collaboration in the quarterback room. I liked hearing that. I'm interested to see who we bring in for that third spot going into training camp, because I think that's going to be very interesting. And another interesting part that almost kind of contradicts what I was saying earlier about Bryce Young was the fact that he was saying that he wants somebody that's going to be ready to go, like that's going to be damn near playable. And he was saying it in the sense of like, you want to make sure that they're ready to go, because we saw a couple of instances last year where quarterback 1 went down and quarterback 2 went down, and now you got to roll with quarterback 3. But depending on how much you want to read in between the lines, that could have been another, targeted statement at Bryce Young, let him know it ain't sweet. It ain't sweet. So
And the draft is deep.
The draft is deep, but I don't think we go quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think
because just based on what he was describing that he wanted out of the third string quarterback.
I think there's no way they go quarterback. But.
Yeah, because we have too many holes.
But I will say, like, that whole veteran quarterback thing, like, I get what you're saying, but it doesn't really move the needle, in my opinion, because you already had Andy Dalton last year, and you had Josh McCown, a career backup quarterback with the most experience in the league. Like, it doesn't get any more backup quarterback veteran experience ready to go backup than that room that you had last year.
But in that same breath, Josh McCown also wasn't sold on Bryce. That's why he got missing, because he wanted CJ. So already the dynamic was already kind of off.
Seemed like they should have listened to him.
I mean, in hindsight.
that's a different question. That's a different story.
I don't know.
I don't want to pull us off.
Very interesting there. So that's really all I gathered from the Dave Canales interview. Now, I have a couple of quotes here from Dan Morgan, and then we'll circle back to what he said about Ick, because I want to ask you a question that I came up with, like I mentioned, when I was driving up here. But this is what Dan Morgan had to say about Derrick Brown. He's going to have a chance to prove it soon. Oh, well, this is just out of the article. And so when I quote him, I'll let y'all know. He's going to have a chance soon to prove it. As Morgan mentioned, positive discussions on the contract extension for defensive tackle Derrick Brown, who is coming off his first Pro Bowl and is in the option year of his rookie deal. Quote, I'm not going to put any timetable on it. We have had some good discussions with his agent, Morgan said, but as of right now, we're working through that, and hopefully it ends up working out at the end, which I think it will. End quote. That, to me, gives me cause for pause. Because, for one, as a fan, don't say hopefully to me when we're talking about this. Don't say hopefully, because I just saw. Like, you're telling me this legitimately 10 days after I saw Brian Burns depart. After it took 2 or 3 years of contract negotiations for us to still not come up with a deal. So don't tell me hopefully we can get a deal done. Positive discussion, that's great. A positive discussion can be me coming to you man to man and us talking in calm tones and saying, how much money would you like? Okay, you want X amount? Okay, I don't think that we're necessarily here yet. But guess what? We can see what we can do. That can be deemed as a positive discussion. So that's kind of when we're talking about the political games that these GMs, owners, coaches play. You have to be very, very mindful of what verbiage they use and the tonality of everything that they're saying, because it sounds good if you read it in a quote and say we've had positive discussions. But to me, I just don't know if I'm rocking with the fact that There were positive discussions, and hopefully we can get a deal done. I need a deal done, and I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago. We need a deal done now because let him come out, and we already saw what type of timing he's on. Because you made it a point last week to say Brian Burns gave shit effort, and the nigga right beside him didn't. So don't allow him to play out this option year, and he break the record again, or he has 6 or 7 sacks instead of 1 or 2. Like, don't. To me, you just can't play with it. You can't play with it. And as we lose a dark cloud in Brian Burns' contract discussions, we gain another one, to me personally, with now having to figure out what's going to happen with Derrick Brown.
I think we only gain another one if they're not sure on. I guess it really just depends on how sure of Derrick Brown they are, which I think that it's a clear-cut answer, but I just don't like the fact that he said there's no timetable, because I just feel like you need to have a time where you want to sign this guy, pay him his money by this certain period of time, because you want to stay far away as you can from the situation like last year. But, I mean, I will, like I said, when it comes to this new coaching staff, this new management, like, I will shoot them some bail just because, like, they're different. Like, they
are, and that's what you said last week too.
Yeah, they're different. So I can't really be like, I don't know if I trust them. I think they're gonna fuck it up, like anything like that. I just can't go that far yet because they haven't done anything yet that makes me think that they're leading in that direction. But I will agree with you. I do think that it would have been better if they came out and said, this is a top priority. Like, we're working with him and his team. Like, we're really working to get a deal done, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. But, I mean, I don't know. I just know they need to pay him as soon as possible.
Yeah. The no timetable thing to me is alarming.
Yeah, I don't like that choice of words.
Yeah, along with everything else in that little paragraph that I just read, there are a lot of sentences and just word pairings that are just hold on a second. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
And the longer you take, the more the rumor mill starts to swirl around and pick up some steam. Because I don't know if you guys see what I just put in there, but somebody put out the 33rd team on Twitter put out possible trade suitors for Derrick Brown, and it consisted of the Cardinals, the Texans, and the Cowboys. So that tells me, like, and this is following the owners' meetings that they just held when they released all these rules, which we're about to get into. But that tells me there could have been some whispers, Tepper might have been whispering in somebody's ear, like, hey, this guy might be available for you for the right price. Get those 2 first-round picks that they missed out on BB.
Could be trying to get him back.
Derrick Brown. It's very possible.
That would be freaky. But that's something that you have to snap call. If somebody offers you 2 first-round picks for Derrick Brown, you take it.
Yeah.
No matter how I feel, no matter how I've talked about DB, no matter what amount of money, 2 first-round picks, unfortunately, thank you for your services. No cap. Rumor mill here, allegedly, the Eagles are seeking at least a second-round pick in a trade for Hassan Reddick. Aren't budging off of that price. 3, 2, 1. Would you move a second-round pick? Would you move 39 for Hassan Reddick? Yes or no?
No.
Absolutely. Because what are you going to get at 39 better than Hassan Reddick?
A receiver.
A receiver.
But don't you have like 30?
33.
33. I'll go get my receiver there, and I'll go get my edge at 39. 2 birds. Just like that. But also, I would take into consideration, what did you give up to get him the first time?
Nothing. He was on a prove-it deal. The first time around, he was on a prove-it deal. He only signed a 1-year deal. That's why he went to Philly, because we couldn't do nothing else with him.
So he was a free agent acquisition the first time?
Correct.
Okay. Then that's, definitely. Second, we made a mistake. We got rid of you. We should have gotten rid of Brian Burns.
I just don't really like niggas coming back, bro. There's just something about that.
Why?
I just don't.
Even if they were productive? I mean, he played 1 season there. He was very productive.
Yeah, but I mean, JJ also makes the point that, and you did too, that Brian Burns had his best year alongside Hassan Reddick. So who's to say that Hassan Reddick didn't have a fantastic year alongside Brian
Brian
Burns.
Burns,
And
that's a
who are
good
we going
point.
to put him beside Amari Barno?
Well, I mean, we can just look at it like Hassan Reddick did that shit in Arizona. He did that shit when he came to Carolina, and he's been doing that shit in Philly as well. He didn't have shit in Arizona. Brian Burns didn't look as dominant as he did until Hassan got there. That's what made people think Brian Burns deserved $30 million. And then in Philly, I mean, he's just been very consistent. Philly has a dominant D-line, but he's even again on that D-line, he stood out.
I don't know.
And he's only 27, 26. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's really not that young, and I'm trying to pull up his contract. So right now they're in the middle of a contract dispute, I guess.
He's 29.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Ooh,
I thought he was a little bit younger.
I was about to say that kind of puts a damper on it. I don't know if I would give up a second for.
Yeah, I don't know if I could.
Because I just feel like you could. I mean, we've been doing our mock drafts, and actually, we will be dropping our me and Terrence's mock drafts via X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at FPFO_podcast. We will be dropping our first version of our mock draft tomorrow at around lunchtime. So make sure to follow and tune in there because you guys can kind of see how we're thinking a little bit. I think that when I did mine, I moved our 39 and I doubled up, et cetera, et cetera. But you'll see when you take a look at the mock draft. But I think at 33, 39, you can get so freaky. We have 3 picks on day 2. You can do a lot with 3 picks on day 2, especially when 2 of those picks are 33 and 39. Because you can go wide out. You can go wide receiver corner. You can go edge. You can get freaky. Because every mock draft that I've been seeing, my boy has still been available at 39. And the mock draft that's dropping via Twitter tomorrow, that had Leggett still available at 65.
Yeah, his projections are a little bit all over the place. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen mocks where he gets got in the 3rd, 4th.
Yeah,
I don't
me
think
too.
anybody really knows with him, honestly, because he's a little bit older. He's an older guy. He's like 22, I believe, and he didn't really break out until this past season. So he's a bit of a late bloomer, and people are kind of like looking at him and wondering why. Like, what's the story there? Why did it take you so long?
If he's available round 4, you snap call it.
Yeah,
if he's available round 4, you don't even. I mean, I don't even care. But I mean, obviously, it's gonna be freaky because if you get receiver at 33 and 39, then you're not gonna have any need for him because then the room is way too congested and you have way too many holes to fill. But if you do decide to go wide receiver linebacker or wide receiver end or end linebacker, if you do decide to do something like that and Leggett is available, then you have to take him to me. You can't let him drop because he's the option.
There's that kid out of I think even better than that sleeper that nobody's really paying attention to right now is the kid out of Washington, not Roma Dunze, but the other one.
No idea.
There's another kid out there that at the start of the season was actually the team's leading receiver, had a little bit of an injury, and that's when you see Roma Dunze kind of take off. But when Washington was beating the fuck out of people early in the year, that kid was leading the room. And like I said, he got hurt. People forgot about him. Really want to get freaky, you go there, in my opinion.
What is he's coming out as a junior or a senior?
I believe he's coming out as a junior. I want to make sure. But yeah, you
that.
really get freaky.
Yeah, because I haven't even heard.
I think I might have. I don't know.
I don't know. I like your I saw your mock too. Because I think you sent it in the group chat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I liked it a lot, especially your last pick. Because we talked about him on Saturday and you were able to get him with the last pick that we had available. And to me, that's a great move. Yeah, that's a great move. Kind of going backwards a little bit here, going back to the rumor mill. Stephon Gilmore allegedly is in talks with the Carolina Panthers. React immediately. Because I know that me and you feel similar about this situation.
Go to the draft, man. Like, I mean, Gilly, I guess he's solid, but, like, I just want to go to the draft, bro. I just want a younger corner that I can develop, like, more so like we did. J.C. Horn, obviously, he has an injury history, but J.C. Horn's a really good player. And you're not going to get a player like J.C. Horn with those picks that we have, but I just want to go to the draft so we don't have to keep dealing with this cornerback shit year in and year out. Because it seems like year in and year out, we have to go and scrape up some kind of corners that are really not there for the long haul. I don't want to have to keep dealing with it. So, and Gilly's old, so he can have some kind of production, but not to what we need in the years down the line.
Yeah,
I just say
not if you're trying to build.
Yeah,
which to me this is a building year.
Yeah,
5, 6, 7 wins.
So you go in the draft and develop somebody.
I think that I don't know how I feel about it. To me, I think that it's giving me a red flag. It's giving me cause for pause. It's giving me hesitation because of his age. Did he have a good year last year? Absolutely. Would it be freaky to see him and JC both available, both playing 12, 13, 14 games? Absolutely. But does he have what it takes to follow the team's best receiver around or even to lock down just one side of the field completely? At this age, I don't know. I don't believe so, number one. Number two, with the age, like you said, it's going to be a 1 or 2 year max rental, and that's not what we need. That's not what we need, especially because I think Dan Morgan was asked a question about J.C. Horn this week, and
he don't know.
He don't know. And to be honest, us as fans, we don't know either. So I'm kind of leaning more so towards what you're saying and let's just chill and let's just go get one out of the draft. Simple. Because I like Deshaun Jameson too. And we got Troy Hill, and we got Bro from Buffalo, which I don't think that he'll get on the field, but he's an option. So, we have a lot of options, and we can still, it gives us enough room to draft and develop.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
So the kid's name is Jalen McMillan Jr. He is 22 as well. But when he was on the field, he only played 7 games. And, these were his stats in those games that he played. The first game, 8 receptions, 95 yards. Second game, 8 receptions, 120 yards. Next game, 4 receptions, 96 yards.
Pause. Start again and tell me who they were playing.
Boise State, first game.
Okay.
8 for 95. Tulsa, second game, 8 for 120. Michigan State, 4 for 96. And then I think this is Washington State University. I believe this is the game he got hurt. He 5 receptions for 26 yards. Comes back in the college football semifinals, 9 receptions for 131 yards against Oregon. And then 6 for 33 against Michigan in the championship game.
Somebody must not read the chat.
What you mean?
I mean, just go look at my shit that I sent the other day.
Oh, what did you put in there the other day?
You put his name in?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I missed that.
Got him at 101.
In your mock.
Yeah.
Well, then
okay.
that's
He might not see the mock.
I'm about to say.
Oh, okay. So you put him in your mock. So
Yeah.
I don't know about him.
Yeah, that's a solid pick.
Well, I just felt if he was from Washington, I mean, shit.
They had it turned up.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, I can't really go wrong with him if I need another receiver. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, you damn sure wouldn't, because, like I said, I mean, you saw what he was doing, about 100 yards a game until he got injured, and then comes back and drops 131 in a fucking championship game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then in the actual championship game, I mean, the whole offense shit the bed. So,
yeah.
I ain't really gonna hold that one against him.
I was about to say that's not his fault.